In 2022, Liberia surpassed Panama as the world's largest flag state of registration in terms of deadweight tonnage, DWT. Hello out there. I'm glad that you could join us once again on your maritime guide in Nigeria. By numbers, it is less than 5 months to the end of the year. I do hope that your year has been productive. My name is Moyoluwa Olutayo. I'll be right back. Don't go away.
Any vessel operating coastal voyage in Nigeria must mandatorily have on board the following: vessel logbook, vessel port of call, vessel particulars, which include registry certificates, safety equipment certificates such as safe manning certificates, builder's certificates, load line certificates, tonnage certificates, radio certificate, insurance certificates, classification certificates, passenger ship safety certificate, service certificate, cargo ship certificate, and waiver certificates or receipts. Vessel owners, captains, shipping agents, and members of the public are advised to note and comply.
The program is still Nimasa this week, and we welcome those who are just joining us. The wealth and strength of any nation is in its youth. So we start the voyage by going to the Federal Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy, where the Honorable Minister, His Excellency Adegboyega Oyetola, is focused on making the marine and blue economy industry very attractive to the youth. I'm sure the youth who are interested will take advantage of it. Stay tuned on the program.
The Honorable Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, His Excellency Adegboyega Oyetola, CON, has continued his campaign to actively engage the Gen Z youth, encouraging them to pursue careers at sea. Recently, during the commemoration of the Day of the Seafarer in Nigeria, the Honorable Minister offered words of encouragement for Nigerian seafarers.
I wish to express my deepest gratitude to our seafarers for their extraordinary service. Your contributions are indispensable. Your courage and dedication inspires us all. I equally like to commend Nimasa for championing the causes of seafarers and maritime industry at large. The world cannot function properly without the seafarers, since ships carry a greater proportion of world commodities. The services of seafarers are immeasurable. Let's renew our commitment to the seafarers in terms of their safety and well-being and professional development. Let's all work together to create a maritime industry that is inclusive, innovative, and resilient with seafarers as is come.
The next opportunity the Honorable Minister had with youth was at the University of Lagos during an employment clinic. He took the time to educate them about the numerous opportunities available in the industry, including but not limited to shipping and shipbuilding, ship recycling and repairs, cadet training and seafaring, freight forwarding, shipbroking and chartering, among others.
Let me state that the current administration, under the leadership of our dynamic and pragmatic President, His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, DCFR, places high premium on education and will continue to support and encourage academic excellence in our educational institutions. As the Minister in charge of the Marine and Blue Economy, I'm excited to share with you the opportunities in the sector and to bring you up to speed with some of the initiatives we are implementing to harness the vast potential in the Nigerian maritime and blue economy space. However, before I delve into that, let me first give a background of the blue economy concept as defined by the World Bank as the sustainable use of ocean resources for economic growth, improve livelihoods, and job creation while preserving the health of the ocean ecosystem.
Oyetola also encouraged the youth to explore imports and related services, cybersecurity and data science, as well as maritime professional services such as maritime law and policy, marine insurance, and maritime education and training.
The blue economy encompasses a broad range of economic activities such as the maritime shipping, shipbuilding and repairs, port infrastructure and services, coastal tourism, fishing and aquaculture, offshore renewable energy generation, seabed mining, underwater cabling, marine biotechnology, in brackets pharmaceuticals and chemicals, maritime education research and consultancy services, marine habitat protection and restoration, and waste disposal.
Other areas that the minister listed included subsea operations such as hydrography and geophysics, marine biotechnology, seabed mining, and underwater welding and diving. Global support for the International Labour Organization's Maritime Labour Convention continues to grow as the date it comes into force approaches. Currently, the ILO has registered ratifications of the convention by 45 ILO member states responsible for regulating conditions for seafarers on more than 75% of the world's gross tonnage of ships. When the convention known as MLC 2006 comes into force on August 20, effectively becoming binding in international law, it will establish minimum working and living standards for all seafarers on those ships. Furthermore, it will be an essential step towards ensuring fair competition and a level playing field for reputable owners of ships flying the flags of ratifying countries. In a significant move for the maritime industry, the MLC 2006 was adopted by government, employer, and worker representatives at a special ILO International Labour Conference held in February 2006. This landmark convention aims to establish international standards for the world's first truly global industry. Often referred to as the Seafarers' Bill of Rights, it is unique in its effect on both seafarers and quality ship owners. The specific day-to-day duties and responsibilities of a third mate or third officer vary depending on the type of ship, but generally include watch standing, supervising deck operations, and ensuring safety. As the officer in charge of a navigational watch, they command the bridge during routine activities. Additionally, the third mate provides cadet training throughout the year, including the annual training cruise. As a junior officer in the deck department, they report to the chief mate, who is the head of the department. Overall, the duties of a third mate are varied and critical to the vessel's operation, encompassing navigational safety and administrative responsibilities. Navigational duties involve standing watch on the bridge and ensuring safe navigation of the vessel. This includes plotting the ship's position and course, maintaining a lookout to comply with collision regulations, assisting the master and chief mate during maneuvers such as docking and undocking. Additionally, the third mate performs departure and arrival checks and tests bridge equipment.
Still cruising on the program, Nimasa this week. The Director General of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa, Dr. Dayo Mubiriola, has restated the commitment of the agency to improving the legislative framework for the Nigerian maritime industry.
As part of its efforts to enhance maritime laws in Nigeria, the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa, has convened a one-week meeting of key stakeholders, including officials from the Federal Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy and the Federal Ministry of Justice. The focus of this meeting is to review regulations established pursuant to the Merchant Shipping Bill. Declaring the meeting open, Dr. Dayo Mubiriola, the Director General of Nimasa, stated that the meeting presents another opportunity to redefine laws governing the maritime sector of the economy. He emphasized that the blue economy serves as the treasure base of the nation's maritime resources.
You are all here to help Nigeria to make a change, to make a breakthrough into the maritime space. These regulations, if we can get them gazetted this year, believe me, from years and years to come, your names will be written in gold.
He enjoined participants to invest the necessary energy in contributing to the national discourse, which is vital for national development. Overall, 10 bills were considered for review and adoption.
So, I'm pleading that you should please just put your energy, resources into it. And in the future, all we all want to do is sit back and say, I have contributed my own part to humanity. So it is important that I'm glad that you are all here. You spend your time, you expend knowledge and all of that to be here. And I just wish you well, and I want to say, please, let us all mark this period as a time that we want to redefine Nigeria and put it in the global maritime sector.
I would like first to express my gratitude to the Director General to Chief Executive of Nimasa for the invitation extended to us, Federal Ministry of Justice, to come here to collaborate with Nimasa and other relevant stakeholders in reviewing these important regulations in the most important sector of the Nigerian economy.
We must comply with what the enabling law says and what the Constitution says, so that we don't go beyond some of those boundaries.
Nimasa this week, the voice of maritime, showing on these stations.
International Seabed Authority, ISA, is an autonomous intergovernmental organization established under the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. Its mandate is to manage the mineral resources of the seabed beyond national jurisdiction for the collective benefit of humankind. ISA strives to ensure the voices of all states, including developing nations and other stakeholders, are effectively represented in discussions regarding the sustainable development of the deep seabed. The Council of the International Seabed Authority, under the presidency of His Excellency, Ambassador Olav Myklebost of Norway, has successfully concluded the second part of its 29th session, marking significant progress in developing regulations for the exploitation of mineral resources in the area.
And again, one of the key features of the convention is that it gives equal rights to developed and developing states, and actually landlocked states, which is really fascinating, that landlocked states have exactly the same right as any coastal state to access deep-sea resources if they wish to do so.
The Nigerian delegation to the 29th session, by Dr. Dayo Moberiola, the Director General of Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, and Mr. Babatunde Bombata, Director of Maritime Safety and Security, from the Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy. The Executive Director Operations at the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Engineer Fatai Taye Adeyemi, this week embarked on a working visit to the agency's Western Zonal Office, where he engaged members of staff on management's expectations. He was received by the Zonal Coordinator, Ms. Gloria Anyasodo.
We want to adopt a culture of professionalism as our core value, and is really showing in what we are doing with the little that we have. Like I told you, sir, I have wonderful staff, and they are all willing, and they are so committed, and they are professionals, they are knowledgeable, and they want to work.
You are the image maker of the agency. Please, wherever you find yourself, do your best. Wherever there's a leakage, or whatever you think you can do better to have more revenue, I will appreciate if people start bringing out idea and follow it up, so we have good revenue for the agency.
I have the benefit of having to say the vote of thanks today. I believe a lot of us have things that we would like to talk to the ED. The ED is not just for Western Zone. We will do proper to send our observations, whatever it is that we have, through the coordinator. We look forward to further engagements with you via the coordinator.
Nimasa this week, the voice of maritime, showing on these stations.
Vision for the sector is lofty, and the commitment of the administration through the creation of the Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy is the highest in the history of our nation. This resolve has further been reinforced by the movement of the Fisheries and Aquaculture Department to the Federal Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy earlier this year. This is instructive, as all issues pertaining to the administration of fisheries and its related activities now fall under the purview of the ministry. This gathering being the first since the welcome of the department to the ministry is therefore fulfilling. The vision of the ministry is to lead the fisheries and aquaculture sector towards a prosperous and sustainable blue future, where our rich marine resources benefit all Nigerians.
Climate change and global warming continue to be the sources of concern in the quest for a sustainable environment, as many countries are finding ways to mitigate the effects and work towards achieving the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. In addition, emissions from ships in the maritime sector also contribute to the challenges of climate change due to greenhouse gas emissions. The International Maritime Organization, IMO, is making concerted efforts with member countries to mitigate and reduce the effects of greenhouse gases on global warming. The Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency organized a one-day stakeholder meeting with the National Technical Committee on Greenhouse Gas Emissions in Lagos. The purpose was to discuss strategies for mitigating this issue and meeting the targets set by the IMO. During the event, the agency's Executive Director of Operations, Engineer Fatai Taye Adeyemi, urged the stakeholders present to work together to develop strategies to mitigate greenhouse gas emissions in the Nigerian maritime domain.
The caliber of people that we have here today, you will agree with me that the agency is collaborating well with others to ensure that this gas emissions is reduced in our maritime domain. And we are going to do more to ensure that whatever it takes to join the world, the IMO goals in this, that Nigeria is not left behind.
The technical committee comprises of stakeholders in the public, private sector, and the academia. On his part, the Director Marine Environment Management Department of Nimasa, Mr. Hiki Dimowo, disclosed that the meeting is a culmination of enormous collective efforts that began in 2018 in the light of the global fight against climate change.
So essentially what has happened is that we have in place a technical committee that is gathered here today to address these issues. This is a global issue that is very topical now, and efforts are geared towards ensuring that Nigeria is not left out. Because for crying out loud, when it comes to matters of greenhouse gas emissions and climate change, we have to be on top of our game. Because international shipping is global. Everybody knows what international shipping is. It's responsible for moving items from one location to the other. So in the process of doing that, you don't want a situation where you complicate or complicate another environment with your greenhouse emissions. And these emissions, we are getting to a point now where ultimately every country, every government has to take a decisive stand on it. If you were at COP 28 last year in Dubai, it was the consensus that every country, every individual has to take serious measures to address these challenges, and that's what we are doing.
Nimasa has been doing quite a lot, and this is one of the initiatives to achieve the IMO call towards the 2050 emission reduction. We have gathered here today both state, non-state actors to come together and provide a way forward towards achieving emission reduction in the Nigerian maritime sector.
We are here to produce solutions as how to reduce greenhouse gases emission in the maritime sector, which Nimasa is at the forefront of it. You know, for emission reduction, it has to do a lot with burning of hydrocarbons in running machines, which the maritime sector, the shipping agency, is at the forefront of that.
Greenhouse gas emissions has been an issue globally, and it's time for us in Nigeria to begin to focus attention on how to reduce the emissions.
Well, before I say it's a wrap for today, in the words of Thomas Fuller, it is skill, not strength, that governs a ship. So as we sail on towards the last quarter of the year, let us develop new skills that will be useful in nation building. Until we meet again on this platform, I say bye for now.
Nimasa this week, the voice of maritime, showing on these stations.
Introducing the Nimasa Distress Response Call Lines for all maritime stakeholders, ship owners, seafarers, ship captains. Whatever your challenge or distress in the Nigerian maritime domain, please call 0803 0685 167, 0708 0005 956, 0700 0700 010. If you can't reach us on these lines, please call 0700 0700 020, 0700 0700 030. Also via VHF Radio Channel 16. Call and Nimasa will respond.